Hey there, everyone. It's the Prime Real Estate team here on April the 1st, 2020. We're here with Kyle and Angie. And of course, we are all self-isolating right now because we're undergoing this really fun time that you're all going through right now, I know. But of course, we always give our monthly sales stats report. We want to tell you about what happened in March. And this is going to be an interesting one because it goes without saying, this is a March unlike any other, right? You guys agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Completely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You may be surprised though. I mean, let's review the numbers with you. And so the neat thing is, since we're doing this on Zoom right now and we're all kind of separately together, I've got my screen capture here as well. So you can see the stats that we look at on a monthly basis. So the first screen we've got here is our sales numbers. We still ended up March with 608 sales. That's down 5%. Our new listings were off a little bit as well too, as was the active listings. Now, we got to remember that things were going just fine until about halfway through March. So it feels like we were having a strong March up until the old COVID thing happened, right, guys?
Completely.
Yeah, definitely. I think, if you look at January and February's numbers, those were tracking 20 to 30% ahead of where we were this time last year. When, like you said, the first half of March, we were probably on that same trajectory. So looking at those sales now being about 5% below probably means the second half, we're probably down about 20, 25% from where we were on trajectory for.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's look at the specific stats. Again, you guys who are watching right now, you can see the stats that we received from the real estate board, and our March ended up with 608 sales. Have a look at all the other Marches, like over the course of the past 13 years. Still not the slowest March. I mean, you look here, 2013, there was 483, 2014, 575, 2012, 570. So, it was far from dead. And there were also sales that happened, including some of ours that closed just yesterday, the 31st. So there will be some more that come into reporting a little bit later.
Well, Tony, and I think it's important too, when we look at, where the market's going to go and things like that, when we look back at, say, 2013, when we look at those 483 sales in March, that was also at a time where, Angie, you remember, there was probably over 5,000 listings available on the market.
There's a lot of inventory for sure.
So people right now that you're working with probably can't even remember what it was like back then when you had too much to look at. But I think it's really important to know how sales and inventory kind of reflect on each other of where the market might go. So low inventory will help kind of safeguard us versus some of the other factors.
Yeah, even right now, right? During coronavirus, it is amazing thing because people often wonder, why are people out there looking? Well, interest rates are awfully low right now too.
Yeah. Yeah, Angie, you still got some people that are quite active, right?
I do. I have investors that are like looking at this opportunity with something vacant that they could possibly purchase as an investment and get a tenant in there. People are still moving with, a lot of taking the proper precautions, and as well as people are viewing a lot of vacant homes that, people are still needing to buy, transfers here for jobs. The uncertainty of when the job might start is up in the air for some, but they still want to line a home up so when the job does start, they have a home to come to.
Yeah, really important.
It's a reminder about Victoria here because we're still that demand location. We're still the place that people want to come to. I know it's going to be tough because people have been laid off, and it's going to be difficult for tenants. It's going to be difficult for a lot of property owners, but that doesn't affect everyone, right?
No,
not everyone.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. Hey, let's look at some prices here. And again, I'll pull up the prices list here. Or here's just our summary, first of all. Again, you guys can look at this here. Sales were down 5% from last year. Here's the breakdown of the units sold. A lot more detail than we can normally give you guys. Here's the interesting one, though. The average price for March came in at $986,000, which is up 17% from last year. Remember, though, that this is always affected by how many higher-end properties sell in the month, or how many lower-end properties do not sell in that particular month. But you know what? It is not a sky is falling kind of situation right now. I mean, who knows? 2 weeks from now, a month from now, whatever. We can just give you the information that we have right now, right?
Well, yeah. Look at the 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, you never thought these, circumstances would be in place. It's crazy what a week and 2 weeks will do.
Yeah. Tony, can you bring up the HPI map by chance for our viewers as well?
I sure can.
Because as you were saying, as Tony said, right, the averages can be skewed very much by, you know, the types of properties that are selling, and we were seeing a lot more of the higher end of the market be more active to start this year. But the HPI, of course, looks at benchmark properties, so those lines are smoothed out a little bit more because it's comparing apples to apples year over year.
Well, even still, if you look at down here, the trading area for their real estate board, we are still up 5.3%. So it went from 736 to 775. Okay, so first of all, this is probably just a point in time.
Exactly.
I think none of us feels that the prices are going up, but on the other hand, I think anyone who's thinking that coronavirus is going to cause properties to dump 30, 40, 50%, again, that's wishful thinking.
I agree. It's not skewing the price. Right now, we're not seeing a lot of inventory, obviously. So it is the supply and demand factor is just, you know, in the seller's favor in some cases.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to look at this long term, that, you know, the government is putting out as many programs as possible to keep people with, you know, wages coming in and enough to cover their monthly bills. And so the last thing the government or the banks want is a bunch of people who have to sell because of financial situations. So, you know, this is where the government will step in. And, you know, what we've told a lot of people is if you don't need to sell right now, then don't sell, right? You'll only have an effect on your value if you put yourself to market. But if you're in your principal residence and you're comfortable, just hang tight and focus on your health and safety right now and taking care of your loved ones. But, you know, if you're not planning on moving for a while, you don't need to be too focused on the market right now.
Yeah, one last thing that we want to talk about too is it's the first of the month. There's questions about tenants and about the provincial tenancy program that's in place. The BC government is going to be subsidizing, so giving $500 a month of your rent to your landlord directly. We have already heard stories of some of our clients being given a check that was $500 short. Any landlord or tenant must know that is not the correct procedure. There is a process you must apply through the government, through the provincial government, and that isn't even open yet, right, Angie? That comes up 8th or 15th.
Exactly. So it's not even, you can't even apply for it. I've had lots of clients, you know, contact us and ask, you know, how do they get the $500 from their tenant? The tenant has to apply, and they can't even look at the application for a couple of weeks yet.
Yeah. So it's not a $500 break. It is not a $500 break. There's so much to know. And, you know, a message that we've been giving people all this time is don't take things into your own hands. You know, don't stop mortgage payments. You know, you got to make arrangements with the bank. You got to make arrangements with the landlord. You got to do all that kind of stuff. Don't want to get in trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. I think Angie made a good point that a lot of these programs are deferrals. They're not money replacements. So you have to understand what the program means. And for a lot of them, especially when it comes with tenants and landlords and even your mortgage deferral, that money will still be owed after this is all done. So just really understand the programs, you know, talk to us, talk to an accountant, talk to someone, and make sure you go to the government site. Maybe we can upload some of those links to this video, Tony, just so people can find that information quicker.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. We are still here, even though we're in isolation. We are working. Linnea, our operations manager, is working hard at home, doing a lot of paperwork and admin. The three of us are doing what we always have to do. So if you need anything, you have any questions, you want to chat, we are still here for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in.